but we work the exact same hours as these men.
Yeah.
And we're tired, like.
Yeah.
What sort of traits would you guys look for like somebody we introduce you to?
Out with like some school friends, and I must have just gotten there. It was like 6:30, and my mum was calling me at 6:45. Like, so are you coming home?
Yo,
and I'm like, but mum, I've just I
don't know if I said this to you guys one time, but I don't actually feel like I could be an older sibling.
Yo, people, it's your way Samson call.
Yo, Akin, when I know.
Yo, this is Capo, and now locked in. This is Still Changing podcast.
He's had that mindset of like, okay, like this is an opportunity here. How can I like work with that? So
Shit, let's just keep that one nicely. You know what I'm saying?
But then,
yes, let's go.
like Chris was always a talker when we were growing up. Like we would have to be like, Chris, you can't say that. Like we'll go places and he'd be like, oh yeah, mum and dad said this, and we'd be like, Chris, you can't say that. Or be like, you know, just certain things, or we'll be like let's not get our parents in trouble. Let's not just if it's like, oh yeah. Remember when they smacked me? And like, Chris, I think you might have.
Yeah, I might have.
But yeah, so that's just a funny aside.
I used to do that.
Yeah, that's
so much. So I think my mum was saying, oh, no, I can't come into because you don't want to come into work. She's like, oh, I can't come in today. My son is sick, and then my brother, like, this guy just comes out of nowhere. Like, I'm not sick. Yeah, it was just a little baby. Like,
hey yo.
But nah, it's actually because I was actually about to say like, is it something about like younger siblings that maybe like older siblings you guys kind of clocked onto it a little bit earlier? Did you man feel like you had to like grow up?
It's true.
Like faster because. And you're the eldest as well, right?
Yeah.
So Esther was the eldest for me, innit? So did you guys feel like you had to grow up? And it may be different from Akin because like Akin was basically your only child, innit? So that could have been like he kind of grew up in his own time, innit? But for like as siblings, elder siblings, did you man have to like grow up a lot faster?
And let me even just add as well, because I feel like there's also like this thing of that compounded with the fact that you're a girl as well. And so I don't know if that like second mother sort of thing, or like is that real?
do you
want to go first?
I think you just kind of had to a little bit because, for example, when I need to pick someone up from school, he's in I'm in year 6 or maybe year 5, and I have to make sure I walk him back from school and stuff like that. And I remember I want to go after school club. I want to do what other people. I can't do that. My mom's making sure we're home at this time. My mom's a nurse, so obviously if there's no one else to cook, you have to do that from a young age, or she'll have certain things. So you just know we're alone sometimes in the house for ages, for hours. So you know you're the one looking after this. You need to make sure the door's shut. You need to make sure from an age of how old are you in year 5?
Man.
You know what I mean?
10,
you're young, and so you have to make sure you hold your brother's hand. And you know, one time I remember so we started a new I don't know if you remember this, primary school, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I made friends at the time, but I remember you were young, innit? Someone was young, and I remember just seeing him just sitting on the wall when he was young, yeah. And I don't know, my heart just shattered into I remember that moment so much, but my heart just shattered into a million pieces because I could just remember he was still trying to make friends. So it was our first day. But with me, I was just I mean, you're older, so you're used to being by yourself. But yeah, I think that was one of the times you just felt you're an older sibling. You feel things a lot. And as a woman, you have to cook, you have to do this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm done. I feel you. They don't cook nothing. But yeah, that's where kind of...
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's interesting because being, when you mentioned, being old, the eldest, and then adding on top being a woman or being a girl, I definitely felt that, growing up, there were certain things that, I just couldn't do. Or... things I'm going out, where are you? I remember there was a time I went out with some school friends, and I must have just gotten there. It was 6:30, and my mum was calling me at 6:45. So are you coming home?
Yo,
and I'm like, but mum, I just got I was like, mum, the food isn't here yet. I can't come. Oh, make sure yeah, well, mum, if you hear this, it's all love. It's all love, obviously. But I was just kind of like, but from like a sibling perspective, like, what's the question?
So would you feel
Let me clarify, because I can go on one.
Yo, do you feel like you face like more of a pressure to grow up earlier as an oldest, and then also being an eldest girl?
Yes. Because like you do have to. Firstly, I think like I always felt like the guinea pig, and felt like I'm the first. So everything they tried it on me first. That didn't work, or that did work. We'll do that with her brothers, or like me wanted to achieve and having that pressure of look at your sister, that kind of thing, or like I remember like our brother, he fell down the stairs or whatever, and my dad was like, why did he fall? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And he was just like you need to be looking after, like he shouldn't be crying, like why is he crying? And that was, I was younger because we were like in a flat, you don't even remember, like it was ages ago, and I remember thinking like, why would I be responsible for if he's crying, or if something's happened to him? There's just little things that hit me that like I am there to kind of guide or be like a good influence, or be there like if you guys need me. And then being a girl, like the emotional side of things is there, like you want to make sure that your younger siblings are okay, like with the cooking as well. Like I can't be not in the kitchen if mum is cooking. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
What do you mean?
No, because obviously for me, I'm not seeing it. I'm just sitting on watching TV.
I know.
But now that you're saying that, I'm deep in that. Yeah, more time. Like you might be the one.
Even if I don't want to be, I at least have to go and be like, "Oh, mum, do you need help with anything?" Hoping that she says no. They'll never say no. Like the amount of times mum would be like, "Oh, like bring out the meat and wash it before I come home," or like please wear the scissors or the knife, cut the tripe. Clean the kidney.
What is
that? Shaki.
Yo, it's Shaki.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you knew that.
Yeah. So all these little things that's like, it's automatically put on you to do that kind of thing. So you feel like you need to be responsible in a lot of ways. And it's trickled into like my life now. Like there's certain things that I'm having to like almost reprogram my mind to be like, you don't have to be everything to everybody all the time. Like what about you? So I mean, it's been good in many ways. Obviously, like I love being an older sister, or the oldest, but there's just certain things that you feel like, oh, okay, maybe it's because of that I act like this. So,
it's crazy because it's like, I think I don't know if I said this to you guys one time, but I don't actually feel like I could be an older sibling. Because of like how I know myself, there's no chance.
Not at all. I can't be bothered. Like, I can't be bothered.
I definitely couldn't, because like there was even one time, like I remember this so clearly, and I always feel so bad for it, but I don't know how old we were. I think I was maybe like 7 or 6.
Yeah.
And I think you had some homework on the stairs. Do you remember this?
I don't.
It sounds so bad, but basically, like me being so bright as I was, I basically wrote on this finished homework, Ore did this. Ore's my brother in it, so I wrote, like Ore did this. What do you mean? So she came to me, she's like, Chris, why did you do this? So no, it was just so dumb. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was just like,
I don't remember.
So if that was me, and you wrote that, I can't.
I'm losing.
I actually don't remember what I did.
I just want to, because you literally went into the room. I think to go and now try and salvage it, but it's so dumb, man.
I just can't. I'll be real. I can let me know in it, cause it's like see what you say, but I can't in it. Like let's say for example, my sister says she doesn't really like being around it. She says she doesn't really cook and stuff like as much anymore in it. But like, so let's say for example, when I came back from uni, bruv, like she packed me still. Like she get what I'm saying in the sense of like for a while. I'll be real. If I want to be 100% vulnerable, she's not as nice anymore. But like before, like she used to like, bro. If I go out, she'd even be like, oh, like, what do you want to eat when you come home?
Oh,
like,
what? Sister,
man.
Blessed.
Look at God.
I'll be nice enough to just know that she got me pop off from Tasty. That's it. But I still appreciate it. But yeah, like I just won't do that. Like I'll be so real. Like I just really can't, like, I don't think I can be bothered too tough to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, let's say for example, like, if it's like getting something on the way home, cool, innit? Yeah. But cooking is long, like, so like, if I'm cooking, like, the whole thing of like cooking for your younger sibling and stuff like that.
That's a thing.
Bro,
there has to be food there, like,
there has
before
to be.
every time I need to go out somewhere, last minute, I have to be like, oh, mum will be like, is there food for him to eat?
Yeah.
Or some actually might have gone out and eaten there, might not eat the food, but in case he needs to eat, is he the king of the house?
Yo.
So interesting.
But
Yo people, it's your boy Sam Sinko, and you're now locked into the Still Changing podcast. Keep it locked.
That's interesting though. Like, I don't know what else there would be, like
the woman, like the girl.
Yeah,
I think that's, and even mostly what you said, like, and to be honest, I'm really in that side. I'm really 25, so like, I'm really learning myself. You kind of need to know yourself as a woman. You're gonna face something. When you don't, you start molding into what the man is, because the man's the leader. You will mold into what them. So as a, like, I would say, obviously, like, as a woman, before going into a relationship, we think we know what we want, but sometimes, or who you are, your identity in Christ, a lot of those things need to be known. When you're learning Christ, you're learning your journey with someone, and then a lot of the time he might be doing it at the same time. It just, there's no foundation, it just clashes down. So I think a lot of the time you really need to know yourself and let God show your identity as well.
Completely agree.
Definitely, I think that's something that I've learned in this season as well.
Because the thing is, and it's not even just about like you better know yourself so that no one can like completely change you. It's also like you want to be equal partner. Like, you know, sometimes they say, oh, you know, you come into a relationship and it's 50-50. It's not. It's like you come as whole people.
Yeah.
You want to be whole. You want him to be whole as much as possible, and you're learning. So another thing I'd add is like you're open to learning, because I read a lot, I listen to a lot of things, but they say that every 7 years you change as a person. Right. Like, it's something about like your makeup, your cells, your mind, like you change. So it's that constant need to make sure that, okay, how am I developing as a person? Am I growing? Am I not growing? Okay, this is no longer something that serves us or serves me. How can I adapt? How can I switch? You want that in a person, you know, to be like, okay, let's change, or okay, let's work on this. So I think that's really important. Like, you want someone who isn't only looking to you to help them be better. Yeah. That's kind of how I would
so
see it.
with people changing, and like women changing specifically, like I was thinking about this the other day. How would you guys or what would you guys say that men overlook in terms of treating women? Because I feel like sometimes there's guys like not like outside of like the bums that like are just very simple, like, oh, I didn't know I should hug you, what you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like certain guys could be victim to overthinking, like, oh, I need to do this and that, but I feel like you might sometimes miss the mark. So like, for example, I think when we were talking about like when let's say like a woman kind of is explaining her day to you, or like something that's happened, you might already be thinking of how to fix solutions. When you might want to just listen, or that might be the main thing. So I feel like sometimes, like, I'm learning that there's sometimes things you overlook, that this is just how someone wants to be treated or loved in it. So like, are there anything that you guys have thought, oh, okay, like, I feel like young guys are missing this, or guys in general?
Yeah, like, we shouldn't overlook it. Like,
got anything? Like, I don't want to frame it in like a negative way. I just think it's like things to think about when you're, you know, with your significant other, and it's just like being willing to hear her. And I think that's kind of what you were saying. So it's not necessarily, I think guys overlook this, because I haven't met every guy, so I wouldn't know. But it's just, you know, from a woman's perspective, and you kind of touched on it about, you know, she's telling you about her day, just hear. Like, sometimes it's, okay, ask some question, okay, do you want me to fix, or do you just want me to listen? Do you want me to give you a solution, or be like, oh, maybe you should have done, or do you just want a listening ear? And that kind of thing is a big one.
But is that calm to ask though? Because, you know, I feel like some girls be like, why didn't you know? Like, never mind. Do you know what I mean? And now what? And I was like,
but it's I mean, sometimes we might be like, yeah, but you should know. But it comes with maturity where you're like, well, if the only way you're going to know is if I tell you.
Yeah.
Like we're not little girls, we're not little boys. Like that's the only way. And you learn. You need to teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So thinking about me, like I got married when I was 24, nearly 25, which is weird. I got married young. And at first I was thinking, why does this guy not know? I'm not calling this guy, but why does my husband not know what I want? Well, because I haven't told him. He already knew so much already, but there were times I'd be like, just whatever. And I had to learn, if I don't tell him, like, oh, actually, I appreciate you did this, but I actually prefer this.
Okay.
Or you did that. I get why, but this is kind of what I prefer.
Yeah.
It's the same way. So you just have to tell people how you want them to treat you, and that's in any relationship. So if she's like, hey, but you should know, eventually she'll probably get sick of you not doing the thing, and she'll tell you.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if you ask it in a nice way, like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, babe. Do you want, I don't know, like, I don't know, but there's a way that you can ask without it being
seen.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I think as you said, like being intentional. So if he was to ask those questions, we'll understand that you're being intentional about it. Like because a lot of time when we just listen, and I know you haven't listened because your actions are.
I don't like that.
I think that's really what it is. But I think just being really like being intentional and actually going out of your way to make things better for her. It will happen the other side. I know men like, what about you? But
of course, it's not. We're not saying it just like
no.
Yeah, it's both ways.
I think I think that's the main thing. Like literally being intentional could really help. Like
and listening. Like try to see your partner. That's a weird word, but your other person as you're learning that person. It's almost like it's the course of, I don't know, Bola or Michelle or whatever. You're learning her like she is one of one. So she's not like X or Y, like she is her. So it's like, okay, she likes this. There's no shame in writing it down and having a file like, oh, she likes this, remember that. And then one day just being like, oh, I got this, I remembered you. Or I was on my way and I just thought about something. I'm just gonna get it. Or I remember you said that about something that happened to you before, like how are you feeling about it now? All those little things.
It's in the little things.
This is my sister.
It's the little things.
How
are you thinking about that now? It shows that you it shows that you're a person who wants to grow with her. That you see her as a person, and that you want to, like you said, do things to make her life better. And honestly, we just want to be seen. That's it. But I put you on game there. Make a file. Make a not a file, but like put a note on your phone.
I can. How many files you have?
That's it. Okay.
Good stuff though, for real though, man.
That's a good one.
Is that stuff you guys do, or is this like new information?
What?
Oh no, I'm still changing.
We are still changing. But the file one, that's an interesting one. Because sometimes, like when I meet new people at like in the corporate space,
exactly,
particularly like people I want to network with, or they're above me. I try to get as much information as I can from different people first. So I know that even in the small talk things, I know, okay, cool, they've flown, they've gone to Italy. So I know that if I want to go to Italy, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm asking, but I know that you've been, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, so it's one of them ones there where like you're piecing together almost like a little narrative already sort of thing.
And sorry, not to say, I'm not coming from like a stalker vibe now. Obviously, this person is your partner. So I'm not saying, oh, jeez. Like, let's not be weird about it. But it's important. And to be fair, I don't even think my husband has I don't know, but file it somewhere in your mind is what I'm saying. Like, he's honestly, like, I married well. Like, he's a great guy. So I don't know what he does, but I know that he listens and he sees me. So that's what's important.
So would you find it weird, if like when you guys were dating, let's say like like Instagram that was popping or whatever, like what if you heard the song that you played on your highlights? Like, would you think that's suspicious at all? Or would you like, nice song?
Wait, explain that again. I don't.
So let's say like you've been on holiday, you've put all your snaps on and highlights, that Instagram highlights, you've listened to a song, you know what I'm saying, like I don't know, like Fire by Davido,
Yeah.
and that's the first song that comes when you picks you up or something like that. Would you think that's stalker vibes? Or cool?
Let's say,
random. I'm putting you on here.
let's say like 4 songs. Cool. Let's say Gabsy. Let's say like, bro, like let's say he knows you're a fan of Gabsy and he's seen certain Gabsy songs and it's like low key. It's very low key. So it's like, oh my days, like I didn't even know you knew this song. You're just seeing
this song. Meanwhile, before you're studying his
there's a specific order that he's playing in. Would you like?
Let's just be normal.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that.
Flowers,
like let's just be cool. I don't even want you to. When I'm saying study your person, I'm not saying go and find them on Insta and like no. But as in when you're with them, kind of thing. It's just like let it be natural.
Okay.
Like
I think a lot of one thing that with men though, they stop it. So then they'll do the whole pursuit with some. I think that's what is problematic with some men, and what makes the men that go further good is more of like you stop it after a point of relationship, or like after a point of comfortability within the relationship. You stop getting to know the person. You never, just like you said, you change after every 7 years. Even if you are married or even if you are like in a relationship, the person has changed. So if from when you stopped knowing that person, and you're like, oh, I just woke up with a different person next to me because you stopped like making the effort to know this person. You stop the dates. You stop even on the dates you're on your phone. There's certain things.
Put the phone away.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. It's like don't stop chasing, basically.
Don't stop pursuing. It's a life.
As soon as you stop, that's why some relationships just.
What's the practical side of that though? Because I guess like in the same way that like all of us now, we want to be on fire for God every day. We want to be praying. Like, there's always a practical side where it comes to, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to split up my prayer time and do some in the evening, or I'm going to actually read now and then praise later. Do you know what I mean? So, on the practical side of things, because practically, yes, let's be real. Like, the comfortability thing will happen for everybody. So, even the ones that have gone past, they've obviously clocked something whereby, okay, cool. I can't be taking on it every week like we were before. Or maybe you can, I don't know, but like I'm just trying to think of like practical ways that's like, okay, cool, someone listening can actually like be like, I can actually try and do X.
But I think that makes sense, right? Sorry.
No, go on.
But I think, for example, there was like a example where someone gave. We're not saying for wherever your girl goes, get her Uber. No. But if you're with her, maybe walk her to the station. Not you get into your car with your boys and your girl's walking back home after your party.
Who does that?
Couple man. And then literally, but it's like we're not saying you should be spending like, because a lot of men will see it as in being with a girl's too expensive. It's not that. We don't need dates.
That.
You don't need to go on the dates too much.
Listen, some of these
maybe your generation. I'm actually not that much older than you, but it's fine. Like, no, I just think I have heard stories of the things that some guys have to do now with some girls, and I'm just like,
it's expensive.
No, because the honest truth is, in real life, and that's what I was saying. I started before saying about God. Like in real life, life happens. Yeah. What if something happens to the guy's job? What are you gonna do?
Some people will walk away.
Listen,
it is.
I just think that you need to be able to live life and have your relationship in a way that is sustainable and you can maintain.
But right now there is a cost of relationship living crisis.
Talk about it.
That's why we adjust. Like,
and you can
adjust. And I think men aren't creative, is what I've noticed. Their creativity stops at work. Cause I don't know what it is yet, but you could be creative with it. You can take on a walk. You can do this. You can do that.
They don't want to go walk. They don't want to go walk.
It's not every. They want to walk to Hackard. They don't even want to walk to Hackard. They want even to Hackard. Even class. You don't even have any previous. What's happening to this guy? What's this guy? You see the V class that those chauffeurs. The Mercedes Benz on the roof.
I find that
you get what I'm saying?
There is a generation I hear it where I get it, like it is like that. But I would say there's a few people I know.
My head is splitting, man.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like McDonald's or like Nando's for every day or like or any.
If I even think Nando's,
no, but I'm
get me behind me, bro.
That's why with Christian relationships it's a little bit harder because let's say for example you're celibate, cool. You can't go to his house. like we're only seen where people are seen.
We're outside.
But the thing is, I feel like whenever you are alone or wherever you are, like in those spaces, is where you really get to know someone. So a lot of the time, I will be honest, it is very hard. Because it's like going on dates, going to the cinema, and going back home. You're not really gonna have enough time to really know someone. So I get it, but I think, to be honest, I can't even answer that question myself because I think that's even.
Wait. So what was the question?
Like, how do you kind of practically know your partner more, especially in a celibate setting of like Christian settings, like
so like particularly the chasing angle that they were mentioning in terms of like don't stop doing that. So practically, how is that done, innit?
Do you know what it is? You know that guy? He's like a pastor. He's a pastor at Mike Todd's church. He wears glasses, beard, whatever. Like he has a beard. Tim, I think so.
He's not TC. I think he's got his own church.
He's actually his mentor. Yeah.
Mike Todd's mentor.
Yeah. He's not Transformation Church though.
He's got a podcast.
I don't think he does anymore.
Yeah, that pod is good though.
He's got a podcast like Upset the like his name is like Upset the Gram on Insta or something like that.
Yeah, the basement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I remember he was saying how like was it him? Anyways, but he I think it was him that was saying how with his wife, his children know that every Friday it's like date night or it's like parent night or something.
Yeah.
And so them two they know they're doing something, and it doesn't ever have to be something brazy, but it's always, once again, it's that kind of like quality time where that's another period where you know it's X stuff and then you know it's time for you guys to sit together. So I think his kids are even like oh yeah, no, we can't do anything because our parents aren't going to be here. Yeah, because they know like our parents are going to be busy, so they know it's their time. But I think that's also a practical thing. Obviously, time, it's difficult with time, innit? Like, because especially when you now get kids and stuff. But I think another thing that kind of helps is just discipline. Cool, we may not be able to do it that day. We're going to find another time to do it because it's like with life, right? As soon as you feel like you can move it one time, you then think you can move it again. You then think then it just gets delayed. So we need to be practical with it and be like, this is the time, this is what we're doing. Fam, we may not even want to do it initially because we know, fam, I could be making money to provide for this, but this is really what is most important. After God, fam, this is what holds up the rest of me. You get what I'm saying?
You're actually you actually are, because that's literally it. So whether you're married with kids, even if you're dating, like there's a day. So like me and my husband, we sat down and we were like, okay, we now have like, this is when we had like our first, and we were seeing that our time was just doing higgy haga different places. And so we had to set a day, like, okay. And we would, at first, you know, someone would say, are you guys free? And at first we'd be like, oh yeah, we'll just move it around. And then we said, we're not doing that anymore. Like, we have to prioritize each other. On this day, every week, we're going to do something. Even if I take turns to plan, he takes turns to plan.
That's nice.
Or like, it can be something extra romantic. It could be something like we're playing, like it could be anything, but that day stays in the diary. So it's the same thing. It's again intentionality and honestly, communication. That's how you learn your partner. That's how you pursue. That's it. If you don't have money but you can communicate, you're rich. Quote me on that. I'm serious. Communication is everything.
I even feel like with the being thoughtful as well, I think doesn't have to stop or shouldn't stop. I feel like that's another way as well, because to your point rather, when you were mentioning about like, to both of you to be fair, but like I feel like, for example, now like still maybe picking up things that, okay, cool, she mentioned this, that she was tired this week, like, so I've got like just a quick spa session, or I've even bought some oils, like let me do it for you, sort of thing. Do you get in a way that's right, in a way that's righteous. In a way that's righteous.
Wait. This is okay. Yeah.
Do you get? So no, this is not marriage. Like let's say not in the context of marriage. So like if I'm just kind of seeing the girl, or whatever, in it.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Not bad. That's what they're taking.
I don't do that. Okay. But like I just think being thoughtful that shouldn't stop in it. Let me stop there. Anyone else?
No, but you're right, because it's not expensive to be thoughtful. Like I feel like maybe to be honest, it depends on like who you're with in it. But like and like sometimes, you know, it is nice to get a little expensive something.
No, for sure.
Really and truly, like, do you remember what we were talking about? How like acts of service in a sense of